I traveled to Vietnam for the first time when I was about 5 years old. Each time I step foot into my home country, the feeling I embrace is always a new experience, and at the same time nostalgic. During my first time there, I knew that my home is not just in the United States. I have another home called Vietnam. Even though I never visited Vietnam before, my body and soul knew that Vietnam is my home. The lifestyle in Vietnam bears no resemblance to the life I lived in the United States. Even though I had difficulty living there at first, the time I spent there was pleasant and exciting. Everywhere I looked, hear, taste, feel, and see, opposed to what I was used to while living in the United States. The tropical climate is especially difficult to adjust to. The first flight to Vietnam during the summer, I did not expect the climate to be so different. When my family and I arrived at the airport and exited the air-conditioned airplane, a huge gust of hot air blasted toward us, enveloping our body with heat instantly. The temperature went from around 71 to around 100 degrees in an instant. Plus, the scorching temperature rose even further during the afternoon, as the sun continues to beat the earth with beams of heat. I remember my first night sleeping in Vietnam well, because I remained awake due to uncomfortable heat. There was only one small, rotating fan in the room. All night, I constantly adjusted myself, rolling back and forth in the mattress covered with a net to keep the bugs away. I had sleepless nights for a couple of days before I got used to the environment. Every day, the sun scorched the streets and rain poured down endlessly. My skin felt constantly sticky due to the humidity and the sweat that covered my body. The tropical climate of Vietnam was overwhelming at first, but I endured the tough times and my body quickly got used to the environment. Then I was finally able to enjoy my nights there. In a country where roaring motorcycles dominate the streets and small high-rise white concrete cubicle houses stand, nature coexists in harmony with the people of Vietnam. Looking down from the balcony of our house, I witnessed motorcyclists crowding the streets like an anthill in frenzy. Everyone drove at about a foot or less away from each other as they slowly rolled to their destination. The streets were dusty, the air was polluted due to the mass of vehicles moving through the streets. However, the enormous amount of vegetation balances out the environment. Compared to the United States, high speed in Vietnam is approximately 25 miles per hour. While traveling around Vietnam on a motorcycle, I noticed that there were little to no traffic lights. As crazy it may seem, I detected no serious traffic accidents. While driving by, I caught a glimpse of a woman being knocked over by a bus. Immediately, a couple of men exited the bus and assisted the woman and her scooter into the vehicle. I thought to myself about how nice the passengers were as I sighted them in the sea of motorcycles. In Vietnam, people set up shops on the first floor of their small houses, selling all kinds of commodities. Zooming by, I heard vendors yelling to attract customers. Some people set up stands outside, convert their car into mobile restaurants, or just carry food around in baskets. The supermarkets are huge, lively, and filled with all kinds of exotic fruits and vegetables. Due to the climate of Vietnam, the fruits ripen to perfection and are always packed with sugar and nutrients. The market was like a sea of colors and yummy goodness. A short walk from the food market, I discovered food stands. The nearby residents prepared food made from the freshly bought ingredients from the market. Freshly caught fish brought in from the ocean and other bodies of water lay in the stands as fishermen holding their catches every couple of hours. The fish are bought alive straight from the sea, still splashing and flapping their tails. The women took care of the cooking process and mingled with customers. The food market had a variety of dishes including pho, stir-fry, steamed dishes, fried, and other soup-based dishes. I was a little confused since in the United States, we find food in the supermarket, like Walmart or the farmer's market. The parks established a beautiful and tranquil environment for the residents to relax as they start or end their day. The birds sang, the ducks and duckling glided across the lake, the elderly practiced Tai Chi slowly and in sync like a dance group. I saw kids playing around and feeding the ducks. The playground were lively and filled with children's laughter as they played ball and other games. Walking around with my family, I saw others taking their leisure time, enjoying the scenery and walking around too. The only park I had ever been to in the United States was the park in my neighborhood. The playground equipments were rusty and were usually unoccupied. The forest pulsates with healthiness and the vegetation shines brightly green and lush. While staying in the mountains, I gazed upon the hidden beauties of nature. The monkeys hopped from branch to branch, the birds sang beautiful melodies, cattle, deer, elephants, and more roamed the land. One of the most beautiful sights I saw was the roaring waterfalls. The water was crystal clear, gentle, and graceful, yet powerful at the same time. While staring closer and squinting my eyes, I noticed a bridge behind the waterfall. As I walked closer, the thunderous sounds of the waterfall grew louder until I arrived behind a curtain of water. Sprinkles of water would splash up, creating a cold mist as I walked behind the waterfall. During our travels, we visited our relatives too. Visiting my family throughout Vietnam took some time, about 2 months to be precise. During that time, we had some fun too, like going to the water park, to the beach, and to the mountains. During all 3 meals, the family would sit in a circle on the floor or at a table to eat. Everyone chatted with each other and happily eat their meals. During our family trips, we traveled on vans most of the time. Luckily, vans were air conditioned. I met my other older siblings and other relatives for the first time. Everyone joyfully greeted us and we talked for a while before leaving to visit more relatives. Leaving Vietnam was a heartbreaking moment as my family and I say goodbye to our family and home. Even though there were tough times while I lived in Vietnam, such as the climate, I would miss the lively streets, the tasty food, the beautiful environment, and my loving family. As we lift off to Vietnam and return to the United States, I stared through the small windows of the airplane. I may miss living in Vietnam, but my home is also in the United States. The past 2 months that I lived there is now a pleasant memory and a destination that I will someday revisit.